Aidan the Wizard O'Sullivan is a peak performer, biohacker, and psychological magician who specialises in understanding human behaviour. He's the co-founder of the Successful Mentalist, a training company for entertainers across the globe, and host of the Successful Mentalist Podcast, which has an audience across over 110 countries worldwide. He's on a personal mission to give life back to a world that is just existing by helping people live more intentional lives whilst building businesses that they love. A short but sweet introduction for you, for a truly charming individual. I'm going to leave the magic to you, Aidan. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. First up, thank you so much to everybody for actually showing up and being here. I wasn't expecting a lovely intro, so I'll take it. Definitely. It's great to see so many people. I'm just going to switch over to gallery view so I can see everybody. There's Leah, Antonia, Kirsty. Oh, there's loads of people here. This is fabulous. Oh, well, this is great. So here's the plan. I'm sharing something that I've never shared before. And there's a very high probability that I will never share it again. This is like a one-time special kind of thing right now. So I've prepared some slides, and trust me, it's not going to be boring. I know the first thing that I like to think of when it comes down to slides is disgusting. So real quick, just before we get onto that, I think there's a setting error. Kirsty, are you able to stop sharing your sound? There we go. Fantastic. There we go, ladies and gents. Oh, nothing quite like Zoom tech 3 years into a global
I thought you were doing a trick on me.
Oh, it could have been. That could have been. Maybe it was. You never know. Anyway, let's crack on. So here's the plan. Today, I'm presenting this talk, Your Life is a Magic Trick, and it really is in more ways than one. So here's the plan. Over the last, God knows how many years, and in fact, the whole world in this century has just been completely shaken up to no end. It's confused and it is evolving really, really fast. But it's also more connected now than it has ever been in the history of mankind. So it's time to actually go ahead and create some magic here. You know, I'm about to share with you my own personal blueprint behind creating truly incredible magical experiences. And I'm not saying that lightly. I mean this. And I'm also going to give you all of the tools, frameworks, and techniques that you need in order to create a meaningful life that you love. Okay. But first, really quick, I know Kirsty's done a marvelous intro, but I wanted to give it from my words. Who am I? Super quick. First off, I'm that guy. That guy is me. That is my face. I have that guy's face. That's me. So what do? Well, most people know me as a magician, but I'm also a mind reader, a psychological enthusiast, a business coach, a marketing consultant, a serial entrepreneur, a podcaster. I'm an aspiring DJ, hence the aspiring on that one, a biohacker. I'm a peak performer. I'm a writer, which all in all is a really long and complicated way of saying I'm confused AF. I really don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm sure there's plenty more to actually go through in the future. So with that in mind, what are we going to expect from this session? A few important things. And here's the plan. Intro. Nailed it. Phase one, we're also going to go through the anatomy of a magic trick. I'm literally going to break down the tricks behind magic, like the real secrets on how this stuff kind of works. Phase two, we're going to go through a slightly new approach to goal setting in a slightly different format to anything you've ever been sort of heard about before. Number three, I'm going to share a couple of principles that run my life and businesses. And number four, I'm going to share the top 10 books that have changed my life, partly because we all love that kind of content. But I will say this, I have recently joined the Magic Circle. This is the most prestigious magic society in the world. Some of what I'm about to share this evening could result in that being the shortest membership of my life. Don't go and tell everybody everything that you're about to learn in here, because otherwise I might get a slap on the wrist. I'm also going to be asking this question a lot. Was this practical, useful, interesting, or valuable? Okay, was this practical, useful, interesting, or valuable? Because if it isn't one of those four things, I'm wasting everybody's time, right? That's the plan. And I've seen the slides. I'm going to be asking this an awful lot, okay? So also, here's what I'm not. I'm not a motivational speaker. You know, I personally, as I was saying to the ladies before all of this started coming about, it's like, I don't believe in motivation. Right? As much as I love the world of motivational speakers, if you need motivation to go out there and do something and achieve a thing, you probably don't love it enough. You shouldn't need motivation to do what lights the fire in your belly and go ahead and do that. And that's why I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not here to motivate and energize you. Yes, sure, you might feel motivated at the end of this, but that's not my plan. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm here for a reason. Okay, so phase number one, let's get straight down to business. The anatomy of a magic trick. I'm going to open up the Zoom chat just so I can see this here, but has anybody seen this film? The Prestige. Has anybody seen it? Just chuck it in the chat if you have, or maybe you think you have, or no. I'm seeing a couple of shaking heads like, no, never seen it. It's highly worthwhile. Maybe, some maybes, no, yes, great. It says, at least some, yeah, a few people know that it's a real movie, and I haven't just made this awesome poster up for no reason. But long story, The Prestige is a film about a magician versus like a scientist, Nikola Tesla, and they're both trying to compete by doing the same magic tricks, but with different methods. The magician doing the, like Hugh Jackman in this movie, doing it through conjuring methods and tricks and illusions. And Tesla, played by Christian Bale here, was doing it through science and trying to do scientific ways of doing the exact same thing. And they was locked in this ever-going competition. But I'm not here to talk about science and all of that kind of stuff. It's the three principles from this movie that are really important. These literally are my system for creating magic tricks from now. And the three principles are as follows. The pledge. The magician says what they're going to do. Okay, that's the pledge. Phase one, the pledge. I'm going to make this rabbit appear inside this hat. I'm going to make this coin disappear. I'm going to tell you what your bank PIN number is. All of which have been in my show on previous occasions. Number two is the turn. Okay, so the magician does what they said they were going to do. This isn't just talking like and saying all of this amazing stuff now. The magician has made this bold claim. They have to go ahead and do it. The magician actually has to pull the rabbit out of the hat, has to actually tell you your PIN number, has to actually go ahead and do all of these miracles. And then the prestige. The magician brings everything full circle in a nice, tidy way, resets everything. The trick is complete. Okay. They're the three stages: the pledge, the turn, the prestige. And these are literally the three steps to creating magic. Okay. The pledge, it starts with a vision. Okay, it starts with a vision. The turn, we then look at 2 points. We look at the obstacles that are going to get in the way, because let's be fair, 9 times out of 10, we can't just lift up a hat and pull out a rabbit. It doesn't quite work like that. I wish it did, but there's some obstacles that we've got to come over. You know, physics is one of them. And then step number 2 is we've got to look at a step-by-step action plan. If we're going to get the rabbit inside the hat, how are we going to get the rabbit inside the hat? And don't worry, I'm not going to tell you how the rabbit actually gets inside the hat in this. I'm not going to tell you how to do that one. That's a trade secret. And then finally, step number 3 is the prestige. This is mission complete. This is the trick is done and everything has expanded. Let me explain what I mean by expanded in this situation. You know, just being able to do a trick is cool. But in order to understand, comprehend, and even create the trick, your mind has to expand to a whole realm of new possibilities. Your mindset changes. Your ability to perform and make this trick actually happen. Your presentation skills must expand to do a new trick, a new piece in your repertoire. Your conversation skills must again expand. Your emotional well-being and your actual emotional interaction and connection with the people on stage with you, for example. That needs to expand every single time. Everything. By the end of just one magic trick, an entire life has changed. And because I'm so passionate about this, this is literally why I'm writing a book on the whole element of feedback, in that getting the results to hear about like what is going on, what has expanded, get the feedback so I know what has grown, what is where I've come from and where I'm going, so that when the next trick and the next idea comes into place, I'm going from a starting point. And in fact, I'm going to share with you right now how I created this trick. Okay, this trick is innately boring. I'll tell you this now, it's really boring. It's not that interesting at all. It's quite simply guessing which hand somebody's holding a coin in. Okay, that's the trick. Everyone I'm seeing right now in these, it's just like, oh, really? Doesn't seem very magical. And that's because it's not. It's not really that magical. It's a bit magical in the sense of it's really cool and quite impressive, but it's not magical in the sense of it's going to blow your mind time after time after time. Unless you're a magician. And I know many of you aren't magicians, but I shared this with magicians all across the world, from some of the magicians, like the big household names that you're already familiar with, that you already know. Shared it with them. Mind's blown. Fooling magicians across the world using this simple trick. And I'm going to show it to you right now. I'm not going to make anybody jump up and come on, start dancing with me in that sense. So I'm going to show you a video, a piece of footage of me performing this. And then I'm going to tell you how I did it. Is that fair? Are we all okay with that? We're not going to be like really upset that I'm revealing secrets, right? Perfect. So here is the piece of footage.
Okay, so I'm here with Joe. We just thought, as we're walking along, we thought may as well play the stupid guess which hand game. So Joe, you've got a coin. Perfect. You're going to hide it in one of your hands behind your back, and then bring your hands out, and I'm going to try and work out where it is. And I've never actually done it like this angle, so that's pretty cool. Okay. Now, statistically, 90% of people do the same thing on their first go, and they place it in their dominant hand. Now, I know that Joe's not a lefty, so he'll have placed it in his right hand. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Perfect, that's one. So again, let's play again, but this time before you make a decision, I want you to mix it up. Place it into whichever hand feels more natural or more right to you, and then leave the other one left completely empty. Perfect. Did you hear what I said?
Mm-hmm.
So place it whichever hand feels right to you,
Yeah.
leaving the other one left empty. And it's quite obvious, and I was hoping that you'd hear that, because then you're going to be doing the opposite, which is placing it in your left hand this time round. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. That's 2 out of 2. Exact same thing. Bring your hands out whenever you're ready. Did you hear what I said that time?
No.
Perfect. I said exact same thing. And by exact same thing, I'm not meaning like the exact same game. Why would I need to tell you we're doing that? Instead, what I'm saying is exact same hand. And obviously you've heard that, you're doing the opposite. So in this case, it's going to be jumping back to the right hand. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Correct. Perfect. We'll do the final round. Did you hear what I said that time?
Final round.
And that's literally all I said. I didn't say anything else. I wasn't doing any of that. I'm not going to get you 3 times in a row. But this time, can you just cross your arms for me? Ooh, interesting. Now, the reason I get you to do that is quite simply because most people will try and sort of hide the coin out of the way. And that's the aim of the game, right? You've got to hide the coin from me. So most people are going to be hiding it sort of underneath, out of the way. But you're not like most people. So you'll have gone all guns blazing and you'll have whacked this straight on top to as almost like a no kind of thing. I'm going to say it's in your right hand and on the top.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Go for one more again.
Sure.
Go for one more.
Okay. Right hand.
So that's the trick. Okay, you don't need to applaud. It's not like I did that right now. Like I did that months ago. That was probably even a year. Like I don't even know how old that footage is. But you see the point here. It's a really simple trick. And there's a really simple method. Just make sure there's a... The video... Whilst watching your video, the people behind you disappeared. They did. And you know what? 100% of people that have seen that piece of footage have all commented on the disappearing people behind me. And it's not even part of the magic, which is, I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll roll with it. Okay, so I'm going to break that down now. So how did I create this trick? How did it actually work? Well, we follow the pledge, the turn, the prestige. The pledge in this case wasn't make an elephant appear on stage, wasn't pull a rabbit out of the hat. The pledge was literally guess which hand a coin was in every time. Simple. That was it. That was all I was going for. I just wanted to be able to guess which hand a coin was in. Now the turn, there's 2 steps. Again, you've got obstacles and action steps. Well, my obstacles is that I wanted this to be able to do it anytime, anywhere. I didn't want any sleight of hand. I didn't want any props, no magnets, no wires or funny business, because if it had to use one of those, I couldn't do it at any point in any place. So I had to do it for real. This is not a drill. This is not a joke. I had to learn how to do this for real. So the action steps, well, just like in the world of peak performance, there's this saying and there's this little phrase. And I want you all to lock this in as a little brain nugget right now, because we're all good at just a quick show of hands. Who here has wanted to do something and just gone all guns blazing, trying to do the big thing first? Like, even though they know that they probably should slow down and do the smaller steps. Like, I know I'm guilty of this all the flipping time. Yeah, exactly. We get into big, yes, me. So we have to start with the baby steps. And there's this phrase in peak performance that's crawl, walk, run. We have to start crawling and do the smallest little steps first on our hands and knees before we can learn how to actually walk. When we start walking, sure, we're not going to be running at Usain Bolt pace, but that's why we have to train. We have to walk and then we can run. We can't go from crawl to run, which is what most people try and do when they do anything, any idea, crawl, and then run. We can't do that. We have to go crawl, walk, and then run. It's a process. We have to slow down in order to speed up. And what that looked like for me was two options. I could either go ahead and study everything that I possibly could about psychology, human behavior, body language, all of that stuff. Or I could just do it a lot. And I'll tell you now, I just did it a lot. That was it. They were my action steps. Just go out there and do the game a lot and see where it gets. And that was the prestige. You saw the finished product. This is now a thing that's in my show every single time. Just because I had the idea, worked out what the obstacles were, worked out what the next action steps were in their smallest form, and then did it. Lots. But here's the problem. There's a load of stuff that you didn't see. In fact, there's so much stuff that you didn't see. I've only put a few points on this slide, but you missed the thousands of correct guesses as I was doing this. Thousands of times I got it right. Amazing. But you also missed the tens of thousands of times I got it wrong. Like, I don't know what it is, but when you're trying to do just a 50-50, you think, yeah, the odds are equal. But when you bias it and you want one of the 50%, it's always going to be the blooming other 50%. It took so long to get used to this. I also got a deeper understanding of human behavior. Again, this isn't just me being able to guess which hand it is. I can now understand the way people talk, the patterns that they talk in, the way that they tackle situations and problems. Again, it's patterns. Again, you see what I mean here in terms of everything has expanded by the time I've just got to the finished result. In fact, on top of that, I've got a disassociation now from emotional failure. Every time this went wrong, I took it to heart and I was like, oh my God, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. It's impossible. There's no way on earth that this is even feasible for me. And it weighed me down like there was no tomorrow. But because my action steps were do it again and again and again and again, that's gone. I still mess up in, I would argue, 100% of my shows. There's still an element, not necessarily this piece, but there's still an element of something that goes wrong, but I don't take it to heart anymore because it's just a piece of the learning curve. I've disassociated myself from the emotions of getting it wrong, of failing. There's the other element of emotional rejection, like rejection. In order to play this game an awful lot, I have to go up to people and say, hey, can you hide a coin in one of your hands and I'll try and guess where it is? The amount of people, I'm not going to say how many, but the amount of people in coffee shops, in bars, restaurants that just don't want to play a silly guess which hand game whilst they're sat there with their friends or with their partner for a nice romantic meal. It's rejection. And the same thing happens. We take it to heart when we get rejected. We build those limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'm not worth it. People don't like me. I'm not loved. All of that stuff happens. But literally guessing which hand a coin is in, that's no longer a problem for me. I can confidently walk up to people and interrupt them and ask them to play a stupid game that they don't want to play. Okay. And also there's a load of overcoming personal fears and like anxiety as well. Like it may not seem it as a magician, as a performer, and from what you're seeing right now, but I'm really bad in social situations, like social anxiety through the roof. I'm terrible with it. It's something I'm working through. But doing this has forced me to overcome those in small little ways. Again, crawl, walk, run. I'm certainly not running when it comes down to social situations right now, but I'm not crawling either. I've built up a little bit of progress. And that's it. There's the three stages, right? There's the three stages. You have that idea, that pledge, that this is what I want to do. The turn, which is the cogs in motion. This is the overcoming those challenges and actually doing your next action steps. And then that expansion, that overall, oh my gosh, I've completed it, the prestige. Okay? So that's kind of phase one, the anatomy of a magic trick. And I'm going to ask, was this practical, useful, interesting, or valuable? Just a yes or no in the chat. And if I see any no's, I can't really do anything. I'm sorry for wasting your time. But was any of that so far practical, useful, interesting, or valuable? I've got a nice like thumbs up and a yes, but this is great. Yes, very interesting. Okay, great. So again, this is stuff that I've never shared with anybody before. And again, it's my exact framework. Oh, yes, yes. Great, perfect, thank you. But here's the thing. This is where it gets interesting. You ready? You ready? Are you all ready? I don't think you're ready. Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready?
You're ready.
I don't think you're ready for this. I genuinely don't think you're ready for this, because it doesn't stop there. You know, it actually goes beyond that. You see, none of you, let's be real here, I've given you a framework to go ahead and try and create some magic tricks right now, but precisely 0% of you are going to walk away and try and become a magician off the back of that. I mean, if you are, drop me a message and I will help as best as I can, but let's be fair, you're not going to create magic tricks. So why bother? You see, it doesn't just stop at magic tricks. You know, we've got the anatomy of a magic trick. And again, it doesn't stop there, because it goes to the shows as well. The magic trick was just one small piece of the puzzle. We can build, and you can hear Floki, my little dog, in the background. He just loves talks like this, so he's downstairs today. But here's the thing. Like, it goes to the full show itself. And this is a show, one of my last shows. It sold out in 24 hours. It was actually about 20 and a half hours to be precise, but we're not talking about that. This is an ego floating here. But it doesn't stop there, because it's, again, you take the same principles and you can build an entire show. You know, the prestige, that vision. Well, I realized that I was on stage, I was really great at creating, building, and then releasing tension. Hence the name of the show, Awkward Tension. That's the whole point. It was awkward moments of building and releasing tension. Great at that on stage. Now the turn. There's loads of obstacles when it comes down to producing a show, but I've realized that the biggest one in this situation was, it was quite simple. I just didn't have a show, right? I didn't have a show, and I don't care what you say. I think not having a show is the biggest obstacle to performing that very show. There we go. Obstacles. We're all in the clear. We're all in agreement on that one. Now, the next step was to work out the action steps. Like, what are the action steps that I'm going to take in order to make this possible? And in this case, it was really nice and simple. I gave myself permission to write a terrible show. Not a great show, not a good show, not a bad show, a terrible show. Now, I didn't go in and intentionally write the worst show I could ever perform. I went out there and wrote a show that I was happy with, but gave myself permission that if in front of an audience it sucked, that's okay. I'm not going to take it to heart. Gave myself permission for the terrible show. And then obviously the next step was to go and perform said show, because if I can't perform said show, we don't have a show, okay? Same question. Was that little add-on practical, useful, interesting, or valuable? If you're on screen, by all means, give me a thumbs up or a wave or something. We'll chuck it in the chat box if we can. Again, it's just taking that one same framework, something on a really small level that you know about, and making it a bit bigger. For the clever cats among us, you might realize that it doesn't stop there. I know, this is amazing. It doesn't stop at a show. Like, let's be fair. You're not going to go out and create a magic trick and then build an entire magic show. If you are, let me know and I'll help. But chances are that's not going to happen. Goals. We all have goals, right? Regardless of whether it's big, ambitious goals like writing a book or publishing a novel, or that's the same thing, but you get the point. Regardless of whether you want to have these massive goals or whether you just want to be a good mum or have a great relationship with your dog. Like, they're all goals. They're all equal in weight. So again, take a moment. I want you to think about this like real time for now. You can close your eyes if you have to, if that helps, but I want you to visualize some of this, because it's really important that you get this locked in and start using this training right now. The pledge. What is one goal for you right now? One goal. It could be huge. It could be small. Doesn't matter. One goal for you right now. Then we move to the turn. What is the one small action that you can do to move you forwards? The one small action. For me, writing a show, my one small action was albeit to write the show. To create a trick in this situation, I had to go and just practice it a lot. For your goal, what is that one small action that can move you forwards? And then finally, the prestige. What will change for you when you achieve this goal? When you start living in this way, once you've achieved this thing, once you've published your book, whether you've launched your business, whether you've done whatever it is that you wanted to do, what will change for you? And the deeper that you can understand this, the more real it gets, the more physical it gets into your world. And you're already starting to rewire your brain towards achieving this stuff. You can open your eyes at any point here. We're not going to stay here for 25 minutes, although we could, we won't. Okay, we won't. But you see at this point, you can start to see just a simple framework into your world right now, into your goals. Again, what's the vision? What's the idea? The pledge. What's the next steps? What's the obstacles? What are we actually going to do? The turn. And then the prestige. What will change after we've achieved this goal? Again, same question, thumbs up or wave at me in the Zoom chat or in the thingy. Was this practical, useful, interesting, or valuable? Was just seeing it in a different light, somewhat useful? We've got double thumbs up going on. This is amazing. I love that commitment. Again, amazing. But it doesn't stop there. I mean, yes, you're not doing magic tricks anymore. We're not talking about magic shows. We can go even further. And again, I think you're starting to see where this is going here. But it doesn't stop there. I'll keep this bit quick, but business. Like if you want to run a business or you have a business or you work for a business, anything to do with business whatsoever, the same principles apply. The pledge, what is your massively transformative purpose? What's the big mission that your business is going out for? You know, the biggest businesses in the world all have one of these MTPs. SpaceX is to make humanity a multiplanetary species. TEDx is information worth sharing. Google is to organize the world's information. What is yours for your business? And in fact, for me, my work with magicians over at the Successful Mentalist, we're on a mission to improve the quality of life for all magicians across the globe by 2040 by optimizing and improving their mindset, business, performances, and health. Okay? Really big, bold mission. 2040, I can't believe that's only like 20 years or less than 20 years away. We've got a lot of work to do, but you see the point here, that's the big vision. Doesn't matter how big it is or how unachievable you think it is, because that's irrelevant. Now the turn, what is one small action step to move you forwards? Well, for us, it was launching our podcast, the Successful Mentalist Podcast. We just launched that and we didn't even have money coming into the business. We didn't have a product for 6 to 8 months. We just put out a weekly podcast because that was helping. That was one small action step moving us in the right direction. And now it's grown quite ridiculously in a good way. But you see, one small action step that we could do. But it doesn't stop there. You know, this is amazing because we can go even further and look at your lifestyle and the actual lifestyle design. Because look, what is your one goal for you right now in your life? Think about it. It could be you want to eat healthier. It could be that you want to get into good physical shape. You want to move house. You want to increase your income. Like it could be literally anything right now. What is a goal that you would like? And if you're happy sharing, I'd love to read some of these in the Zoom chat. But what is one goal for you in your lifestyle right now? Take a moment. Because it's really important to stop and think about this stuff sometimes. Just what do I actually want? When I say the word goal, it's all a goal at the end of the day. If it's something that you want to bring about, that's a goal, that's an objective. And if you've got something in mind here, we'll move to the next step. What obstacles are in your way right now? What obstacles are in your way right now? If it's that you want to eat better, but a big problem is that you don't know what to eat, well, that's a big obstacle. You don't have the knowledge. Or you want to get into physical shape, but the biggest obstacle right now is you don't know what exercise to do, or you just don't want to do the exercise. That's a big obstacle. Doesn't have to literally be like a physical thing. It could be a mental obstacle as well. And as a hint, there's usually more than one. Then we can also look at what's the one small action step to make everything easier. If you've read Atomic Habits, a great book by James Clear, it talks about taking and removing resistance and making things easier. So if you do want to eat healthier and you don't know what information is out there for you, and you don't know what to eat and stuff, well, one small action step could quite simply be reach out to a nutritionist. Hey, I want to get healthier. I don't know what I'm doing. Please help me. It's a really simple thing. You don't need to make everything change the world right there and then. You just need to take that one small action step. And then finally, the same question. What would change for you once you've achieved this goal, once you're eating healthier? And I'm using eating healthier just as a generic one because that's something that I really should be doing right now. But eating healthier, like what will change? Well, I know that for me, I'm going to have better energy each day. I'm going to be in better physical shape. I'm going to be happier 24/7. I'm going to feel much better. It's going to be so many changes. And some of you can see this. Just run this with the goals that you've got right now, whether it's eating healthier or something completely different. Was this element practical, useful, interesting, valuable? Same question, different context. Yeah, we're starting to get it. But it doesn't stop there. And I promise we won't keep going with this. We won't keep going with this. But it doesn't stop there. Because look, at the end of the day, what's the point in all this? Literally, what's the point in me going out there and doing silly little magic tricks? What's the point in me going out there and doing whole magic shows that people come and buy tickets to, or people's weddings or anything like that? What's the point? What's the point of building great businesses or living the life and lifestyle that you want? What is the point in anything? I am having a little bit of an existential crisis right now, but don't worry, because I've got your solution. If you're there with me, it's purpose. It's purpose. What is your purpose? I don't mean big businessy thing here. I mean literally your life. What are you put on this planet to achieve? What is your mission in life? Because that is why we get up in the morning. That's why we keep going with all this stuff. That's why we set the goals and we go through this entire circle, getting the feedback and working right there. What is your massively transformative purpose for you personally? That's our pledge. That's our vision. In fact, for me, there's three. I want to give life back to a world that's just existing. We're all stuck living variations of the same plan. Not the same life, but the same plan. Like, just think, all across the world, and I know we've got an international audience, so you'll all be able to verify this, but think, children go to school for roughly 18, 20 years, roughly. From there, they tend to go to somewhere like college or university for however many years, to then go and get a job for 40 to 60 years so that they can retire and enjoy the last 20. It's pretty universal, right? It's pretty universal. We're all just existing through the plan that somebody else made for us years and years and years ago. So my job, my personal mission is to help give life back to a world that's just existing. It's to help people start realizing that they might be falling into similar traps, predetermined outcomes, and switch and make the decisions and start changing the way that they actually live, because that's what true life is. It's actually making that decision. I also want to redefine the global perception of magic as an art form. Like, across the world, it's scattered. People think of different stuff at different times. Like over in India, they're still playing with silks and hoops. That wasn't a thing in the UK for like 400 years. It's amazing how just across the world, magic is different. And I want to redefine that for not just magicians, but for you guys as well, for audiences. And then finally, yeah, that one. I want to do cool stuff. I want to do cool stuff, because at the end of the day, if I'm not doing cool stuff, why am I bothering? Like, cool, I could do all this other stuff. But if it's not cool, great. And fun fact for you, I'm doing all three of this right now. That's why I'm loving stuff like this. I'm getting to do all three of these. Everything is intersecting. It's interweaving. I'm nailing all of this stuff right now in a very small way. Now, the turn, there's two obstacles. Well, one major obstacle. I'm a nobody. Like, I don't mean that for sympathy. I mean that literally. I'm not like an Elon Musk where I tweet something and the entire world responds. I don't have any power over the wider world in and of itself. I've accepted the fact that, yeah, I'm a nobody. But that's what makes me wake up every day, striving for the next step, striving to actually become, not become a somebody, but somebody who people understand and is actually achieving these big missions. So obstacles, obstacle number one, like I know I'm a nobody, but the action step, I can't put it any better than Eleanor Roosevelt's quote. Do one thing each day that scares you. I'm scared as heck telling you all of this because I'm being totally transparent with not just magic, something that I'm going to get slapped for when I go back to the magic circle, but also I'm telling you, this is my life blueprint. It's scary stuff. It's scary stuff. And if you could do one thing each day that scares you, I think you're in a really great position. Because life is scary. It changes, stuff happens. And that's the way forward. And that's how you cover the term for your purpose. And then the prestige, the best bit is, yes, again, prestige, the big outcome, the full disclosure, the full end of the trick. Well, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of my days. I can't sit here and tell you right now what's going to happen. If I could, I'd probably be very, very well off being able to predict the future, but I can't do that. So what I get instead, my trade, is every single day I feel fulfilled. If I'm doing that one thing every day that scares me, I'm feeling much better about myself. I'm feeling much better about my life. I'm fulfilled. I'm doing the right stuff. The pledge, the turn, the prestige for your entire life purpose. It's the same stack. Your life quite literally is a magic trick in that sense because it uses the same rules. It uses the same principles. And most people think that when you start doing this, like you get days where it grows and you use it and you go have your up days and then your down days and then you go back up again. But that's not true. That's not how this stuff works. You don't go through a bumpy ride. It's completely different. Like first, your change will be very small. Your improvements, your growth will be very small. Then it'll get bigger. And then it'll start to get ridiculously big. Oh my gosh, you're a completely different person. Oh my gosh, what the heck is going on? I'm living the life that I wanted. I'm on point. I'm going in the right direction. You get that full curve. It's exponential. These 3 steps are exponential. And this is why I'm so passionate about this. Again, I said there wasn't one more. I forgot this one slide. Let's just move on. I presume, and I hope that that's been practical, useful, interesting, or valuable. I hope so. I'm getting some nods here. I want to blitz through these because these are really important. There's some principles that run my life and businesses. Challenges are my best friends. Whenever I'm stuck with a challenge, I'm not going to run away from it. I'm not going to shy away from it. A challenge presents me with perfect opportunity to grow, to expand my skill set, my mindset, my heart set, my soul set. It gives me that opportunity to expand everything because I'm rising to the occasion and actually tackling that challenge. You start living that, game changer. Number 2, the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. I'm one of those geeks that tracks everything. I'm wearing an Oura ring right now that tracks my sleep, my heart rate, all of this kind of stuff. I obsess over these numbers because they literally tell me, am I on the right track? If not, what do I need to change? I go back to the cycle again. There's clearly an obstacle that I need to work through. I need to change some action steps. The numbers don't lie. After that, the impossible, you've probably all seen something like this. You've probably all seen one of these. Impossible is actually just, I'm possible. It's right there staring you in the face. I find it cheesy, but it's true. Like nothing really is impossible when you look at it. Big picture thinking, you just being here, all of us just being here, the odds are in there, God knows how many. It's huge. The possibility of us even being here together as a collective, as a group, number is ridiculous. It's not impossible. Nothing is impossible. That's just a nice little mindset to have. And then the other is like quite reframing. There's a big problem. Oh my gosh, everything goes crazy. It's not a problem. It's an opportunity. An opportunity for you to find new challenges and overcome those. It's an opportunity for you to take something and just look at it and fight it head on and grow and evolve from there. If you start seeing your life through the lens of opportunity rather than problems, it's hard to describe what shifts, but suddenly you're not stuck in negativity. That's what problems do. You see problems on every four walls. Like you just, everywhere you look, there's a big problem. It's negativity. It brings you down on an emotional and a spiritual level. But when you're looking for opportunities, you're not looking anymore for the big wall. You're looking for the little crack in the wallpaper that you can tear that problem down, and you get a whole new wall and paint over it. You can find just the window. Sometimes just seeing the window is enough to see that as a big opportunity. Somehow take that metaphor. That was a bad metaphor, but take it and run. Now is the right time. Okay, this is the big one. Now is the right time. We've all done that thing where we'll do it tomorrow. We've all done that thing, or we'll do it later. And then later never comes. Tomorrow never comes. Next week never comes. Sometime never comes. If you're sat there right now, if treat this as like, I don't know, a message from a wizard. Now is the right time to take action and start doing the thing that you want. If you're holding back on something right now, a change, a decision, a conversation, whatever it is, waiting for the right time, that right time is now. Maybe not right now, because otherwise that'd be incredibly rude if you have to go make phone calls and stuff, because just because of the nature of things. But you get the point here. Like now, do it now rather than later. That's what I'm saying here. Okay. So just to recap those, challenges are my best friends. The numbers don't lie. Impossible is literally impossible. Opportunities, not problems. And now is the right time. Okay, now is the right time. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh my God, there's another one. I'm so sorry. But was this practical, useful, interesting, or bad? We're getting thumbs up. There we go. There we go. Who here is also annoyed by this slide? Yeah, everybody. So there we are. There's the plan. We've gone through the intro, which we nailed straight away. Phase 1, we looked at the anatomy of a magic trick. We also tackled phase 2 quite discreetly without announcing it fully, a new approach to goal setting using that pledge turn prestige model. Phase number 3, principles that run your life and business, where we went through those. And finally, to summarize everything here, the pledge, the turn, the prestige, job done. Remember, there's those steps involved with actually creating a magic trick or changing anything. You create the idea. You find the obstacles, you find your next steps, right? They're the smallest next action points. From there, you get your new goal in place once you've gone through part of the prestige, and then recognizing the expansion, recognizing that something has changed, everything has changed just by achieving that thing. Now, the top 10 books that have changed my life, I'm not going to run all one by one. I'm going to put all 10 in. If you need to grab a screenshot of those, by all means do. But these have been absolute game changers for me. Some of you you'll recognize. I presume that 90% of us here have read some of these, including like the Code of the Extraordinary Mind by Vishen. I think we're all familiar with that one to some degree. $100 Million Offers is an interesting one. That's a book about business. But the concept of the business book is give as much value as you possibly can, and then ask for as little as you possibly can in return. Because if your value stack is way bigger, then if I say, like right now, it's going to cost £5,000 to work with me one-to-one for some form of coaching, whatever that is, but you feel it, and the change it's going to make is £1 million to your business, incredible. But don't just look at this through the lens of business. This is a lens of life. If you're faced with an opportunity, remember, opportunities, not problems. If you're faced with an opportunity, you tackle it with big picture thinking. How can I be as valuable as I possibly can in this situation? And ask for as little in return. Everything changes. Yeah, really useful. And I also would, just the last thing on this box is, I would argue that number 1 is a must read for everybody. Transcend, The New Science of Self-Actualization by Scott Barry Kaufman. He was my coach during a portion of 2020. That man changed my life. I owe him everything that, every bit of success that I've got right now. I would argue it goes to that man. But his book is a game changer. It really, really is. Okay, this is getting out of hand now. I got carried away with this slide. I copied and pasted, but it doesn't stop there, you know. That was the point where I'd do the nice wrap up and then just be like, come back and I'd be smiling, be like, hey, everyone, how was that? Was that interesting? But it doesn't stop there. This is where I get excited most because, we're all here for a reason, right? All of us, we're all here right now for one reason. And there's one word that matters the most. That is the reason. Connection. Everyone here smiling. I saw that. Every single person in their own time. Smile, 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 smile. Because it's true. You know, you look at every single step, not just are we connecting here in this amazing space that the ladies have so wonderfully created. But if you want to look at it in terms of what I've just shared with you, the tiny fraction of what I've just shared with you, again, this is at the heart of everything, quite literally, look. We started by creating that idea, right? In order to create the idea, we have to have some form of connection, not just to ourselves personally, but to other people, so we can create some form of idea in our mind. We have to bounce ideas off of each other, otherwise we don't get the idea created. Obstacles, well, in order to overcome some obstacles, you've got to work with people. People are your best allies. We can do this together, not just on our own. Next steps, often we need other people. Like take the fitness example from earlier. You don't know what to eat. A nutritionist can be your next step. You're connecting with incredible people, with incredible skill sets, doing their incredible things to make your life better. New goals. Well, you've connected with so many people in just achieving that one goal. You may as well keep connecting with people as you go into the new one. Expansion, everything changes, not just for you by doing something, but for every person involved. The entire world changes and elevates by you elevating yourself. Challenges are your best friend. Look, we go to these exact fine points here. The challenges are your best friend. Well, they are, because you might quite literally need your best friend to help you through them. And I'm not just saying that to be cliched or cringy or anything, but it's true. The numbers don't lie. You need a good connection with not just the physical and the people around you spiritually, but you also need to connect with things that are going to tell you that you're on the right track. And yes, that can be numbers. Yes, that can be spreadsheets if you're boring like me, but that can also be people. Don't laugh at that, it's true. Impossible. I've got a massive spread. It's ridiculous. Impossible, like you're possible. Just all of this is centered around one word, and it's all centered around that connection. But in more ways than one. You see, it's quite literally been hidden in plain sight for this entire thing. Remember, look, they're the ideas. But if we take a look at the first letter of everything that we've just shared, people are spotting it. We take a look at the first letter of every principle, every idea, every angle that I've just shared with you in the last however long I feel like I've been talking, maybe 4 or 5 days. But you've got the C, the O, the N, N, E. See, look, I've written it there just to make it super handy for you. But connection is at the heart of literally everything, whether your life, whether your purpose in life, whether the tricks and the magic routines that you're doing, prattling around on stage every single night. Regardless of what it is, connection is the only way forwards. Thank you, everybody, for paying attention, for listening, for being here.